Willie D Live.
What's up, family? 2 more bodies popped up in Houston bayous on yesterday, creating more speculation and panic that a serial killer is on the loose. Check out the video, leave your comments, and I'll come back with mine.
Good afternoon, I'm Ugochi Iloka. Starting off with breaking news at the top of your noon hour. Houston police have confirmed with us that 2 bodies have been found in our Houston area bayous. A call was placed in near the 100 block of Crawford Street for the first body and then the other off Old Spanish Trail. Our Troy Kless has the latest. Troy, what can you tell us there from the ground?
Well, Ugochi, I am here again near the corner of Ruiz and Crawford Street, and I'll step out of the way. You could take a look behind me. The scene is taped off while investigators are down the hill trying to piece together what exactly happened. We did also just see within the last 5 minutes, that's the Harris County medical examiner here on scene. But what Houston police tell me is that they received a call around 9:30 this morning about a reported body found in Buffalo Bayou. A dive team is coming out to go into the water, and while it's difficult to see from up here, we could see investigators speaking to homeless people who live underneath a bridge that goes along the bayou here. And again, back out here live, we're also learning about another body that was found this morning. So according to the Houston Police Department, they say that call came in around 9:35 this morning in the 5900 block of Old Spanish Trail, where Houston police told our photographer on the scene that a body was found in an advanced state of decomposition, and that is most of the information that we know right now. Again, the police department is trying to piece together everything, and there's no indication right now that those 2 scenes that police are working are connected right now. Of course, we'll update you with the latest information once we learn more.
So, what's law enforcement doing about it? Nothing, unless you want to count denying it. They're basically saying, hey man, ain't no serial killer out here. People have been dying in different fashions. People have drowned. Somebody committed a suicide. Other people have been murdered. So the only thing they have in common is their bodies are popping up in bayous and around bayous. I'm not rocking with that, fam. I'm not accepting it. So here's why. Here's why so many people in Houston believe that a serial killer is on the loose. I made some notes. There's a high number of recoveries. A significant number of people have been found in Houston bayous this year. So far, at least 31. At least 31. Now, the thing is about Houston is that we've always had bodies pop up in bayous throughout the years. I guess it's a convenient place for killers to discard bodies or people to go and off themselves. But 31 is unusually high, and this is why people think that a serial killer may be on the loose. There's a lack of immediate information, delays, or a lack of public release details on the causes of death for many victims due to medical examiner backlogs has created a vacuum of information, which some residents feel with speculation. Circumstantial similarities. The common factors of the bayous as the final resting place for the victims, along with some cases involving individuals last seen leaving bars, like the University of Houston student Jade McKissick, leads some people to believe the deaths are linked. The skepticism of official denials. Some community members and private investigators have questioned the official stance, suggesting that the authorities might be downplaying the situation to prevent public panic or negative impact on the city's image. They're really concerned about those tourism dollars. You know, if they start having people panic, there might be a bunch of people that decide to get up out of here. There could be a mass exodus. There could be a situation where people are not going out to bars as much. They don't want to go to the museums and all that kind of stuff. They don't want to spend money at the restaurants. It's a whole lockdown. So they don't want to create panic. But I say safety first, man. You know, I think you got to call a strike and a ball here. This sounds like a serial killer is on the loose. It sounds like a serial killer is on the loose. And there is a strong pattern of people leaving bars and being found in the bayous. I don't think that's a coincidence. And I'm not trying to scare anybody, because anywhere you go in America, I'm sure there's a serial killer somewhere. America is just a very dangerous place, and I don't think you can pretty much go anywhere and not have to move around with your head on a swivel. You really do have to protect yourself. You really do have to be your own bodyguard. You have to really be your own police officer, because these people are not going to protect you. They're going to show up after you dead, just like they showed up for all of these victims after they were dead. I do not understand why, with all of these killings, and even if the killings wasn't happening, at the very least, they should have videos. There should be cameras all over these bayous. There should be cameras. Even in the park. I run at Memorial Park. Well, I don't run anymore. You know, I pretty much walk most of the time. Every now and then I might do a little jogging. But Memorial Park have very few cameras. And Memorial Park is a vast area. Like, it's huge. And I'm just, going down the trails. I'm just looking around. I'm like, damn, there's so many places along this walkway and, this track where somebody could just grab somebody and, take them off into the woods or drag them into a car. I mean, no cameras anywhere. And I'm thinking to myself, we live in a reactionary place, right? This type of country where something has to happen first. Somebody got to die first before we try to take charge. Now, that don't really go for schools and churches and stuff like that. You're on your own. You're going to get killed. They're not going to do nothing for you. They're not going to help you. But when it comes to things like traffic signs, right? You ever notice how you can be in an area where there is an intersection, and the intersection is very dangerous because they don't have the proper signage up, or they don't have any type of traffic lights, right? And there'll be a lot of collisions, near-death situations from time to time, and they do nothing. But the moment there's a fatality, they got lights up the next morning. You ride by, you're like, damn. They just put it up just like that. Why do we have to wait till people die to take action? Why can't we be proactive? Why don't they use some of that money that they get from our taxes to put up cameras along these bayous, put up cameras at Memorial Park and even the other parks, because some of the lesser known parks, they need cameras too, and because there are people who visit those parks, and the cameras ain't necessarily going to stop somebody from committing a crime. It may serve as a deterrent, however, and at the very least, if something does happen, where we know how to stop at least that uncivilized mutt from doing it to somebody else. They absolutely, I don't understand these politicians. I just don't understand them. I don't understand these city officials who call themselves being, in control and having stewardship over the citizens, at least having at the very least leadership. I don't understand why they won't do more and be proactive as opposed to being reactive. I absolutely believe that there's a serial killer out on the loose in Houston. And I think whether you're in Houston or anywhere else, you better be careful going into clubs, coming out of clubs, going into supermarkets, coming out of supermarkets, going to the gas station, leaving the gas station. Even when you're at home, you got to have your head on a swivel, because somebody will walk up right to your house and blow your head off. I mean, I just saw a video the other day where these dudes went in to rob this family. They killed the son, who was 20 years old, killed the father, and killed his wife, allegedly over some drugs. The police caught the first dude before the day ended. How many times I gotta tell y'all, when y'all commit these brazen acts of violence, you are going to get caught, because the police cannot have competition, man. Now, I know I feel like I'm picking on the police, it seems that way, but I guess I am, but if it don't apply, let it fly. If you know you one of the cops that's on the beat and you doing the right thing and you going for it, hey man, just don't take that part personal, because you know what I'm talking about and you know I'm not lying. But it's bad out there, man, and we gotta protect ourselves. Like, it's really bad. I saw these dudes go into that house and kill these people. They got some kind of money. They was looking for the money. And they got some kind of money. I don't know how much they ended up getting, but they got some kind of money, but it wasn't what they wanted, because dude was like, well, what the rest of it? What? She was like, that's all. And they were getting ready to leave. I guess dude didn't want to show them what the rest of the money was, or they thought it was some more money and he wouldn't show them, and they popped him. And then they popped the father first, then they came and they popped the son, and then they popped the wife. Whew, man. And then there was babies running around the house crying and going on. Oh man, those uncivilized musk was captured in record time. I ain't got no problem with that. Look, man, if you can't catch them in the act, you can't catch them before they do it, at the very least, use your resources, go in and snatch them up off the streets. See, the police can actually do that in almost every instance. They can do that if they want. They got the resources. Because if you kill a cop, I can guarantee you they're going to use everything, every resource at their disposal to get to you. They are going to capture you. Because all they're going to do is start that net exactly where the crime occurred, or where they think the crime occurred. And then they're going to keep spreading it out until they locate you, until a camera picks you up. And once that camera picks you up, they're going to keep on spreading it until the next camera picks you up. Pick you up, and mess around and catch you coming out your house. That's how good they are. They can do it if they really wanted to, but they don't prioritize citizens the way they prioritize police officers. You know how they get when it's a police officer, so one of our own. As if the citizens that they swore to protect are not one of their own when one of them dies or is murdered, right? But when the police get down the way that those cops got down, I gotta salute. I gotta give them credit. I gotta give credit where credit is due. They couldn't save their lives, but they did capture the uncivilized mutts who killed them, and they will, the family will get justice, because ain't no way they gonna let their asses back out on the streets. They're done. They out of here. They ain't never, ever, ever gonna see daylight again outside of prison walls. In fact, I think 2 of them already got life sentences. I just saw that the video came out recently, I guess because they put it out because of the trial and everything. But yeah, those guys got life sentences. They're out of here. For the people who have been found, who have been discovered in these bayous in the Houston area, I feel for their families because they don't have answers, you know? I feel for their families, number one, because they have to bury their loved ones. But number two, they're in the dark. And it don't look like the police is in a hurry. Don't look like law enforcement is in a hurry to bring somebody to justice. Like they should, and it's gonna be hard for them to try to, put up, post cops along the bayou. We got 2,500 miles of bayou in Houston. 2,500 miles of bayous in Houston. There is no way possible that they can cover all of that. I think that number is 2,500. Let's see, what is it? What's that number? We got, let's see. Yeah, well, we got 2,500 miles of waterways in Houston, right? That's a lot of space to cover. So they can't possibly do that. But what they can do is they can put those cameras up, and that could mitigate a lot of the damage that is going on right now. They could do something more than what they're doing, except just waiting for another body to turn up. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.